Hi, I'm Eric with RockyMountainATVMC.com, and this is our Polaris RZR XP 1000 build. So to start off today, this is a 2016 XP4 1000, but everything we're going to talk about today has to do with, it could be the 2-seat XP 1000 or the 4-seat 1000 or both the turbo models. So most of the parts are going to fit the same. And on these machines, you know, we've had experience with them since they came out, and the XP came out in 2014. We got one of the first ones we could get our hands on, and we've been logging the miles ever since. We love these machines. They handle great, a ton of travel. They're really comfortable. You can go fast, you can go slow, but we found that there are some things that you need to add to these machines to make them comfortable, to make them safe. Some of the things aren't as necessary as others. I mean, there's some must-haves you've got to have, you know, right off the bat. A windshield, a half windshield or a full windshield, a roof, a rear window to keep the dust from swirling on you, a skid plate to protect the underneath, and an extra belt and a tire repair kit. Those are kind of like you've got to have these things before you do any riding at all. But then we're going to go through this extensive list of all these awesome things that you can put on these machines. So let's get started. All right, to start off with, we're going to start talking about protection. And at the front of the machine here, we have this Tusk XO front bumper. You know, a couple things in the design of this thing. We wanted to make sure that it was solid. So we actually went back to the A-pillars. So if you do actually impact something, it's not going to go through your radiator. We made it so you can mount the 12-inch light bars. You can actually put 2 of them on there. We added extra holes, so if you wanted to stack them on there, there's plenty of room to mount your winch, whatever you need. But it's, you know, really good protection for the front of your machine, and we think it looks great. Out back, we've got the Tusk rear cargo rack, bumper, spare tire carrier. It's really flexible, so you can add a spare tire to it if you want. If you don't like the look, you can leave the spare tire off of it. It actually mounts to the cage and to the frame. You know, you can attach your fire extinguishers, your jacks or whatever, even a Rotopax mount if that's the way you want to go. And it does have an upper rack on it, so you can actually double up your storage a little bit. So really nice pieces, plus it protects the back of your machine. Moving on with the protection, we have the Tusk Quiet Glide skid plate. Especially on these long ones, you know, the breakover angle on stuff is so shallow that you end up scraping the bottom all the time. And we've got a UHMW skid plate, so it's got a really low friction coefficient. It's made out of 3/8 material. It's slick, so you know, you just slide over things. It's not as noisy. When you have an aluminum skid plate, it actually is really noisy underneath there. So that's a must-have, you know. And along with that skid plate is we have the Tusk trailing arm Boss skid plates. So on these XP machines, the mount where your trailing arm mounts to, it actually hangs down below the frame. It's actually your lowest point. And so we have some little glides that go on there. They're a UHMW material as well. So next on the list, we have the Zebros components. So these are high clearance components. We found that sometimes the best way to protect something is to get it out of the way. And these actually offer more ground clearance. On the front, we have the A-arm kit, and it's actually a +2. It moves the front wheels forward 2 inches, so we can mount 30s with no problem and go to 32s if we want to. Out back, we have the trailing arms, and if you're rock crawling or, you know, going over logs or whatever, just that extra clearance really makes a difference. And then we also have the lower and upper radius rod kits. You know, the stock ones that kind of has that flimsy lower radius arm kit that you're always worried about tagging on something, and This just gets it up out of the way a little bit more and makes a big difference. So we've talked about protecting the machine. Now we're going to talk about protecting the riders. And you know, we already said in one of the must-haves is a roof. And here we have the Polaris aluminum roof. It does a great job of keeping the sun and the elements off of you. It's made out of aluminum. And then at the front here, I think a must-have is definitely a windshield. And we've played around with different kinds of windshields, and this is the one we really like. So it's a little taller than a half windshield, and it's hinged, but when it's cold or in the morning, or you're blasting down a faster road, getting to another trail, you can actually just flop that up, and it keeps most of the air off of you. Now, when it's dusty later in the day, or it's hot, or you need more airflow, you just drop it back down, screw it down, and it stays out of the way, and you've got full airflow, full range of vision. It makes it's very nice. And then to go along with that is we have a sun visor. So this is the Tusk UTV visor. And you know, we started with this just as being a sun visor, but we found that it has quite a bit more use than that, more utility. So if you've got your half windshield up and you're cruising down the road, you can drop your visor down like that, and it's gonna keep more air off of you. If you're going along and it's really quite dusty, sometimes, you know, if you spend time in these things, you know that the dust kind of swirls down on your, you know, where your feet are and stuff, and you can actually evacuate that air by using this as a wind deflector. And so you pull it down, something similar to that, the wind comes down and hits that and shoots down on your lap and blows all that dust out. And it also functions great as a sun visor. So that's got quite a bit of utility to it. Something else that we found that is a must-have is the rear window. So a rear window keeps the dust from swirling back behind you and dropping down on your shoulders. Probably a little bit more effective in a 2-seat than a 4-seat, but it's still, it makes riding in these a lot better. So, and still talking about rider protection here, doors. It keeps, you know, especially with these tires where they're a little bit wider set, you're gonna get a lot of mud, water splashing in, even going through, you get sometimes sticks and stuff that gets kicked up. So these half doors that are full half doors, they make riding these things much more comfortable. These are Polaris's. They're made out of aluminum. They utilize the stock door frame. So basically you're just going to use that stock door frame, and it slams nice, it stays shut, it's secure. So very nice piece. Since we're talking about the doors, we're going to move on into some more, I guess, nice to haves. Some of the accessories that are, you know, making it that much more comfortable to ride around in these things. One of them is these Nelson Rig door bags, and they go on really easy. They just use some push pins to go on, but it has a pad for your knee and then has a pocket for a little extra storage. And we have them for the front and the rear. Next up is the Polaris folding mirrors. They have a breakaway function to them. If you hit a tree or something, they'll fold right out of the way. They have a good field of vision so you can see behind you. As far as storage goes, we also have these Tusk cab packs. Just a little bit of extra storage. They have fleece lined pockets so you can put, I mean, you could even put your camera in there, you can put your sunglasses in there, but just a little bit of extra storage for these machines. Speaking of extra storage, we have this Tusk storage pack that just goes right here in the back. It clips in really easy into your bed. It comes with all the mounting hardware. Great place to put all the extra, you know, snacks and coats and everything that you're going to be taking with all your extra passengers. So now that we're at the back of the machine, let's talk about the Rotopax mounts. The Rotopax cans themselves, they're carb approved. There's quite a few mounting options. You can get the Rotopax mounts. You can even double them up if you want to. You can add water containers. And then we also, back here, we have the Tusk UTV jack. This goes great with your spare tire. You know, it's something that we didn't think about at the first when we started driving these things is, you know, when you get a flat tire, it's not like an ATV where you can kind of just pry it out, you know, lift it up and brace it on a rock or something like that. You actually need a jack to get these heavy things off the ground. And then we also have the Tusk UTV fire extinguisher. This is a quick release. You pull a pin and the fire extinguisher is in your hand and ready to be used. Another accessory is a Tusk winch with synthetic rope. This is a 3,500 pound version. The kit comes with a mounting plate as well, so pretty easy to install. These big machines, it's pretty easy to get in trouble. These things will help you get out of it. Next up, we have the Tusk UTV seatbelt sleeves. These are a really simple item. You've seen them in cars, but they really do make a big difference. When you're out there, all day long, you're off-road, you're getting jostled back and forth, and the seatbelt's really gnawing into your neck. These make a world of difference. So moving on to some of the electrical components, we've got the Tusk LED light bars, the 12-inch one down here on the bumper, and then the 30-inch one that we have up on the roll cage. They're both, they're rubber mounted. They have a combo style lens, so there's good spot and good flood illumination. They're machine specific, so you can put in your machine and buy it with the kits, or you can just buy it as a light bar if you've got a different mounting solution. Next up, we have the SSV Works weatherproof Bluetooth overhead 4-speaker system. This is pretty slick. It just mounts up on the roll cage just underneath your roof. It's all sealed, it's marine grade, easy hookup, just a 2-wire power hookup for the main system. It's Bluetooth, it has a waterproof locker for your phone or your iPod or your iPhone. It has an internal amp. Really nice to be able to listen to music and actually be able to hear it. And you can add on to this by, especially with the 4-seater, they have, SSV Works has this rear add-on. It's just 2 speakers that add on to the rear. And they also have a subwoofer kit that fits where the glove box goes. It actually still leaves a little bit of a glove box that you could put your registration and a couple small things in it, but you can't even tell there's a sub up underneath there. It doesn't get in the way of your feet or your knees or anything. It's actually really nice. You put all those things together and it turns it into a really, really nice sounding system. Something simple we have is the Tusk UTV cab light. If you're out at night, these things will help you see what you need to see. Next up, we have the Tusk UTV horn and signal kit. This is great to let those around you know where you're going and what your intentions are. This kit comes with everything you need. It's got 2 signals for each corner, a horn, and all the switches for the dash. It comes with a whole harness and everything, so it's pretty much a plug and play. Now moving on to some of the things that you can't see, things that are still very, very important, like a plug kit of some sort for your tires. So like the Tusk tire repair kit, this thing comes with plugs, the tools to put the plugs in, patches, CO2s, and then also a little air pump. And we have the Slime top-off air pump. This is really compact. It comes in a nice little case. It's something that we've used time and time again. And then one last thing is an extra belt. And we found a spot on these razors to put it where you can basically set it in there, attach it, and forget it. You don't even have to worry about it again until you need it and you know it's there. Another accessory we chose to add to this machine is the Zumo 590 LM. It's made by Garmin. We do quite a bit of exploring, and this helps keep us on track, make sure we can get back safely. They're getting to the point where everybody needs a GPS, and these work great. Next up, something that's really important for these machines and is probably one of the first things that people want to customize is the tires and wheels. And this one we have the Tusk Terabyte. It's a 30-10-14, and it's sitting on the Method 401 beadlock wheels. It's a good looking setup, very durable. Method, they're called Method race wheels. That's kind of where they were born, as in racing. And it's beadlock, so you can run a little bit lower pressure, not be worrying about the tire debeading. The tire itself, the Terabyte, it's an 8-ply construction radial tire. It's actually DOT rated. It's got some nice sidewall accents to it to make it kind of stand out a little bit. It's more of like a truck tire tread, kind of the trend lately is to go towards that. It rides really smooth, but yet gets really good traction. For those of you running on the sand, one of the popular additions is to put paddles on. And this setup here works good. This is the EFX Sand Slingers and the Motorsport Alloys rims. It's a nice wide tire in the back, nice wide rim, gives you a good footprint to help you float over the sand, and it works really well. If you're looking for a new setup, make sure and use the tire and wheel package builder. All you have to do is put in your machine, pick your wheels, pick your tires, we'll mount them up and send them out to you. So that wraps up our build on this RZR. Make sure you go to our website, check out all the parts that we put on here and many more. It's RockyMountainATVMC.com. And if you've liked this video and you want to see more, make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.